Hola YouTube, this is AcquaNINJA, and today I'm bringing you iOS 11 Gold Master Revision. This is the final beta, and you're going to be able to see all the features of iOS 11 in their entirety, in their fullness, and it's just a really good experience so you can see the things that are going on. One thing is in messaging now, whether it's landscape or portrait, you can kind of have extra options and things of that nature. As you can see from this slide right here, if you go to the widgets, you can actually have all of your nice little things customized like that. Even your park car for things like destination, all the new widgets, really cool things like that. But going inside the messages, you can still do the favorites. And in landscape now, you can see a portrait view, so you can quickly reply to all the messages and things like that. Here's one feature that a lot of people probably didn't even pick up. You go into any browser, things like that, and you see how the video feature actually has a new type of display panel. You got the volume on the top right, you got the control on the top left, and on the bottom you got the forward and rewind 15 seconds as well as the slider. So now you can actually control your videos a lot better if you're watching any video on the browser, say weather videos, anything, any type of video content in the browser will show up like that. So obviously excluding things like YouTube and other outside sources of that nature. In terms of the UI, a lot of icons have been revised. As you can see, the Apple icon looks a lot more unique. The Force Touch actually acquires some new settings. So as you can see, it's got like different customized panels and things of that nature, as well as Google Maps. Apple Maps as well. As you can see, it's a completely new symbol now, so there's no mistaking it for any other app. There's a lot of cool revisions as well. So say hypothetically you wanted to go to, well, let's pick the mall, right? You go to the mall, and now you can actually see this in-depth store-by-store view of every location in the mall. So now it's not any more confusion or guesswork of like, where am I headed at? Where am I going to? No, you know exactly the layout of the mall, exactly how it was meant to be laid out, which is perfect. So it's like you have a map of everywhere you go, including airports, museums, malls, pretty much literally any big establishment. You have an in-store map of that. A new type of app that they have now because of the new revision is called Folder, which now encompasses your iCloud Drive, your Google Drive, and all of your files inside of your system in this one app. So it makes it a lot more easy to be able to find and configure your files on a computer or on your phone, so that way you can actually see them now. This is the first time you can do that, which is pretty amazing. In settings, a lot of people are going to see all these new settings like, display, the new Siri, you got the new Apple's passwords, you got accounts, you got the TV provider app now encompassing everything. And it's a bit cumbersome, but the one thing that most people probably would not see is actually the smart invert color feature. Now, essentially what this means is it's a dark mode. Right, we've all been asking for dark mode, and they finally have given it to us, albeit it's a little bit off, but it works for the most part. So essentially what it does is it inverts all the colors, but then it realizes like which apps are there and which pictures are there, and it doesn't invert those. So that way the display still is dark, saving you a little bit of battery since it's an LCD panel. On OLED it would save a lot more battery, but it also helps to make the screen dark, so it's easier on your eyes. As you can see, it even flips the color for the recording and makes it blue instead of red. And this is how it looks inside of Apple Maps. You can see everything was nice and blue. It's actually pretty cool. Even inside, and here's a main one. Inside the App Store, you can actually see how each of the apps individually, you see how they're normal colored, so it doesn't look weird at all. It just, everything in the background is actually black, and which, I mean, it just is a really good effect inside of it. So that's another cool feature that is going over. Now, a lot of people were, talking about how photos got revised and how they got changed. and they wanted to know more about that. Well, this is the final build, and you can see you can now choose individual slides from your live photo, and you can choose those individual images as the main picture. So you can save any of those individual frames as the key photo, or save it as a picture, as well as edit any individual one of those frames. So you can make your own basically GIFs or little indication photos. You can mark them up and send those files to your friends or whoever you want to send it to, which makes it really, really unique. And this live feature is also enabled even if you have HDR photos, which is a huge benefit. So, if you're like, you're in Miami or like me, and you see like a nice, beautiful sunset, here it is, HDR and live, you can actually save all that dynamic range and be able to see that with all those edits that we were just talking about. So many new changes that we got going on. And one of the biggest ones that a lot of people might see and say, whoa, what is, tell me about it, is the control center. Now you got all these new things. One is the music. As you can see, you got all the panels right there, making it nice and easy and concise, as well as you got the lock screen, you got the notification, you got all those right there. The Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi are two important things to realize. Now it's a new panel so that if you disconnect from the Bluetooth, it doesn't turn Bluetooth off. What it actually does is disconnects all the devices that are Bluetooth enabled, but it keeps your Bluetooth on, which is really amazing if you're the type of person that has multiple Bluetooth devices, or you just want to disconnect from one device. You don't want to turn Bluetooth off completely. The same applies for Wi-Fi. And for mobile networks, if you turn it off and turn it back on, say you have a bad network like Sprint, for instance, it'll actually just refresh the network. So it'll help you to do that since it realizes you want to do that. And as you can see, there's actually more settings that you can put on your control center. I just stick with these because these are the main ones that I care about. And the battery saver is still there. You still got all the essential ones. And the one I'm actually using right now is a screen record so that you can actually see what I'm doing right now. This one is a really important and crucial feature for iOS 11. So now, if you don't know what screen record is, it's basically a screenshot, but as a video. So now if you want to, you see some hot person on Instagram, you want to record their little video or slide or whatever, Instagram Live, you can now do that. And it's completely easy. And I think it'll basically replace screenshots because, hell, making a video is a lot cooler than making a screenshot, right? And I can see this getting jealous girlfriends and jealous boyfriends. I can see this becoming a huge thing to keep tabs on people and to make sure that you can record entire conversations and things of that nature. So, it's really cool to have that feature. Bringing it back to the UI, really, Siri is probably one of the most integral parts of iOS in general, right? So say, for instance, we type in something like, how tall is the Empire State Building? Well, now you can actually type that in, which is a huge plus. How cool is that you can actually just type it in and it just comes up. It'll also speak to you, so it doesn't, it doesn't need to be talked to do that. So, because a lot of times, you're in public and you're like, oh, ask Siri a question, and you ask Siri and she just does nothing. So to avoid that, they did that. Also, you still have the original features. You can call, you FaceTime, use apps, thousands of other things, see the time, X contextual information, things like that. So Siri is just a lot smarter, a lot easier to use, and she makes the whole iOS experience a lot better than it would be. There's probably 15 other changes. You can notice the signal bar is now revised, the battery icon's a little bit bolder, but mainly iOS is just a more fluid version nowadays. And this has been an Aqua review. I appreciate everybody watching. I hope that you guys comment, rate, subscribe, and as always, have an Aqua day.